Welcome to What's Going On. What's Going On is a new effort of Children's Futures to highlight the positive people who are living or working in the city of Trenton and the greater Mercer County region. Today on our show, we have Assistant Director of Capital Child Care, Mr. Taha Hasan. Thank you so much for being on our show.
No problem.
Now, Taha, before we get into Capital Child Care, I want to talk a little bit about your background. Can you speak to me about where you went to school, what you studied?
Sure. I actually went to Mercer County College for 2 years, and then after that I transferred right into Rider University. I went there for my business degree. Throughout my college career, I was like, all right, I want to do my own business. I'm going to start something up. Looked at different ventures and stuff like that. But I always had a niche about kids. Mm-hmm. And with that niche, I just took it and expanded it. A little before I went into college, during my high school days, my mother actually used to have a home daycare center. Oh. So with that home daycare center, I was always around kids, and my mom had 5 to 6 kids in her house at all times, and I always wanted a big family. So with I have an older sister myself, mm-hmm. and a brother and sister who are younger than me. So we're 4, but I'm always all about, I want 13, 14 kids myself. So I was like, to gain that adventure, how am I going to do it? Obviously, I'm married, but I have 2 kids there, so I still wasn't fulfilled. So we found this location, and we just went from there. And I never ever imagined in my mind that I'm going to be managing a center with 130 kids. When we opened the doors of Capital Child Care, we had 2 kids. The first day we had 1 kid. And slowly after weeks and weeks and weeks of hoping people are calling and stuff like that, it just grew. And
so it went from 2 kids to 130 kids.
I have 130 kids now.
Now, what are the age ranges for the kids?
We're actually licensed to take them as early as 2 weeks, which is very rare in Trenton. Many centers are registered or licensed at 6 weeks. Just because of the size that we're able to accommodate to, we're early as 2 weeks, mm-hmm. and we go all the way up to 6-year-olds.
Now tell me about the different programs that you all have within Capital Child Care to ensure that these children are being nurtured and cared for, and they're growing and developing.
Our biggest thing is that we brace that, and we love the fact that we get to see kids from infants going all the way up to 5 and 6-year-olds. And the last 2 years we were actually able to hold a graduation ceremony, which is incredible because we get the cap and gowns and we have a whole ceremony with the kids. Mm-hmm. But what we stand out about is that we're a creative-based curriculum center. So we're more hands-on. We don't just do dittos, and we don't just do here's a worksheet, do what you want to do. We're more about, let's teach the child hands-on experience. So like in our infant room, obviously because they're so young, there is no curriculum and there's no set schedule because every infant's on their own, doing their own sleeping, eating schedules and stuff like that. But what we do is we pull out our infants at about 8 months, and we have a room that's only 8 to 12 months old. Mm. And that's strictly a room where they're learning how to walk. Because over 5 years, we've noticed that when younger kids are with babies, they don't want to start enhancing themselves. They don't want to go walking. They would rather just stay crawling and playing with stuff.
That's a good point. So
what we do is we bring them into a room that's especially for 8 to 12 months old. So now they're grabbing onto furniture, pulling themselves up, making sure that, hey, if that kid could walk, it's just all mine, but mm-hmm. hey, if that kid could walk, I'm going to walk too. And mm-hmm. parents love the fact that we'll purposely pull them out just because we want to enhance that child.
I personally love that because my son just started walking yesterday. Uh-huh. So
it is, and and we get such positive feedback, and that's just from us, trial and error from the day one. Mm-hmm. And we just see that as soon as another child sees another child do something, they just love the fact that, hey, we could do it too.
Right. They mimic that behavior.
Exactly. So what we have is then we have our 8 to 12 month classroom where they're learning, they're sitting up more often now, they're getting introduced to real food. So because at our center we provide breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snack. Mm. So we start introducing them to real food or just texture of the food. Let them play with macaroni and cheese. Just let them feel what it is. I mean, people might think that's just such a waste, but I mean, when they turn 1 year old and you try to give them, macaroni and cheese, or you try to give them even bread, they don't know what this is. They've never touched it, Right. So that in our 8 to 12 month room, that's what we try to do, is we just try to let them play and feel things, and that's where creative curriculum comes into. Then our next room is our 2 rooms that are 12 to 18 months. That's more hands-on in the essence of we're having them, sit there. They're going to start painting. They're going to start doing activities with their feet. They're going to, just deal with different toys, start building with blocks and Legos and stuff like that. So that's why we're so geared to creative curriculum, because it's a curriculum that we're able to work with, and the parents could actually see the development. It's more because when we opened the first 2 years, we were just doing dittos after dittos, and parents liked it. Oh yeah, but it was just scribble scrabble. Now they see, oh wow, my child actually knows how to do something.
Right.
In our older 18-month classroom, we got kids in there that know how to count through 1 through 15 already.
Wow.
And they're only 14 months, 15-month-old kids. They know how to count 1 through 15. They know how to count 1 to 10 in Spanish. They're more active. They're just hands-on, and that's what's so great about it. And then it just progresses by their age throughout the whole center until you get into our preschool class, which is our older classroom, and then we have our graduation and we say bye to them.
Yeah, the graduation, I have to say, because we're located upstairs from you.
Right.
And I have to say, I see the parents come in for the graduation, and I get excited because I see the cap and gown, the balloons, the flowers, and these kids are serious about graduation.
Yeah, they're excited. I mean, parents are already scheduling it. Hey, when is it? Let us know. I mean, last year we had a parent who, rented a limo for their kid. I mean, they go all out because it's like their biggest thing for them at an early age,
Early age.
And that's the biggest thing, because you don't want the kids to feel like, oh, it's just a graduation. I mean, we get the support from the families, which is awesome, and it's just a big milestone for them that they're leaving one school to go into an older school, so they have that edge to keep going. And we hold our graduation, which is kind of odd, but we do it in August just because we're a full year program. And if we held it in June, then July and August, it's like the kids still here. So the kids are like, why did I do my graduation? I'm still coming back here,
They're like, I don't get
So we hold ours in August, just so it's August, and then September, boom, they're into their new school
they're
season.
In their new school. Now, let me ask you, you have a certain capacity in your center. I mean, granted, it's huge down there. I've been down there many of times. But what should parents like myself, who may not be able to get access to your center, but what should parents like myself look for in a child care provider when shopping around?
I always tell the parents that do come shopping around, the main thing you gotta be is you gotta feel comfortable with the center. And when I mean comfortable is when you walk into the center, you gotta feel secure, because you are leaving your child for 8 to 10 hours with us. So if you walk into a classroom and you just get this feeling like, oh, it's not secure, or you don't like the atmosphere, or it's too dark, or you see something's torn up and it's not being fixed immediately, or something that just, when you walk into a place and something just hits you in your face like, oh no, then you don't feel comfortable, because then you're not going to be comfortable at your workplace where you get.
Right.
See, when you walk in, you have to look at, okay, is it a clean center? Yes, it's a clean center. 2, what are they providing me? What is their curriculum? What is their standards? Is it just a drop-off service, or do they actually do something for us? Do they provide, daily reports for our kids? Do they go ahead and provide them breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snack? And not all centers do, because they don't get the different programs that are out there to get this stuff, just because they're not the correct size or they're too small. But okay, you got to just still make sure that at least the food that they're getting is nutritious food, because I mean, obesity is a huge thing.
Yes.
And we've touched on it together, and I know we worked with Child Care Connection before, and we worked with them it's a huge issue. So you want to make sure that the little stuff like that is taken care of, because again, your child's with us for 8 to 10 hours, and that's a huge huge part,
commitment for a parent. And so how do you involve the parents with kind of bridge that gap between what's going on at the child care center and when that child gets home, reinforcing those same different developmental activities?
What we do is, especially in our preschool room and our older classroom, or as we call them, the youngsters, we actually give out, and we don't enforce it. We don't like to use homework as the word, but we just give out packets. In the packets, there's going to be tracing sheets in there. There'll be coloring pages in there. Just something fun. So it's not like, okay, they get home at 5:30 and the TV's on and that's all they have. They get to go ahead and they have a packet to just doodle on and stuff like that. And we'll have a note. The teacher will have a note in front of it. Hey, bring it back. Let me see what you did over the weekend. So they could, because show and tell is Monday. So they get to present it to their class. So they're excited about that.
Tell me about some of the staff that works with these children.
What we try to do is all our lead teachers in each classroom are either certified teachers, certified base teachers, or going for their certifications. All our younger teachers, or assistant teachers as we call them, we try to hire them who are actually working for their education degree or working for their licensing or something that's early education based. Just because, assistant teachers obviously need hours to get their certification anyway, so we figure why don't we go ahead and pull them in anyway, because they're going to be, the experience that they'll gain here is going to help them out towards their degree. And then with our lead teachers, that's the hardest part, because it's like you have lead teachers that have fully completed their schooling and everything, and they're looking for a good elementary school or a high school or a middle school to work with, but they come into early education, which is a whole different ball game. And when I say a whole different ball game, you got to be on your toes. You're working in a classroom with minimum of 13, 14 kids, and obviously you have an assistant teacher or 2 assistant teachers, but still you are the lead teacher, so the parents are coming back to you. They're not going to your assistant. So you got to be on your toes all the time. So that's what we look at when we're trying to hire people. Just they got to have some kind of childhood education background or working towards something. So it's, it favors everyone in that sense.
Right. So how can a parent like myself or any parent learn more about your Capital Child Care Center?
We're going into the social media in the sense. We're finally got a Facebook page.
Okay.
So you could definitely go on Facebook. You could definitely call us at any time. We're on the website. We have, capitalchildcare.com. I say the biggest thing is just come in and tour us. I guarantee that as soon as you see our center, you're not going to go anywhere else, just because it's a beautiful center. I don't want to toot my own horn, but we put a lot of time and effort to keep it clean and just keep it maintained correctly.
And tell viewers what's the address of the center.
It's 16 West Front Street, Trenton, New Jersey, 08608.
All right. Now, we are coming to near the end of our program, but I want to say I really appreciate you being on the show, and I will toot your horn because I think you're running a fabulous center downstairs, and I think that the kids, they always leave with a smile on their face, so that says a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us again, and join us next time for another edition of What's Going On.